because I'm a visual learner, I went ahead and put together what I perceive to be the model based on the text that we read. And on my model, the very first building block, or the base structure, are the scriptures of God. And as we learned, obviously everything in our theology is based on the accurate interpretation, the belief of the sufficiency, necessity, infallibility, all of those things of Scripture. Resting on the Scriptures is the Old Testament and the New Testament, the two parts of the biblical canon. The green arrows represent the self-revelation that God provides, both through general revelation and special revelation. And then the overarching narrative points to the Messiah. This was something that was really significant for me when I began to understand that the overall story of the Bible is not segmented, but every single piece of it is pointing to Jesus Christ as our Redeemer. Flowing from the overarching narrative enables one to interpret Scripture. And so in the yellow square, that is where I began to understand different ways to interpret Scripture. And I like this model for me because it reminds me that you don't go directly to interpretation of Scripture, but you're starting down at the Scriptures and then flowing up. So the interpretation of Scripture happens in step 4, probably. After you interpret Scripture accurately using the contextual tools that we learned, then you can begin to establish a doctrine, coming up with a theology or a summary of statements surrounding various scriptures that are talking about the same topic in the Bible, and I can begin to develop my doctrine. Once my doctrine is identified, it's based on a biblical foundation, it's sifted through the overarching narrative, and I've used different interpretive tools, then I can become mobilized to begin evangelizing to others. And finally, having at the very top, engaging the culture in my vocational calling. For me specifically, that is through education.